Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Coffee Conversation Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and our technology partner Prime Infotech Solution. I am Jolly Singh, co-host and associate with Prime Infotech Solution, and this is the Emerging Lawyer series where we bring you conversations with some of the most dynamic and inspiring legal professionals in the industry. And the theme for our conversation today is going to be from deals to due diligence, navigating the corporate law. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Amit Shekhar Dutta, an associate at Ahlawat and Associates, Advocates and Solicitors. With expertise in private equity, venture capital investments, mergers and acquisitions, and general corporate advisory, Amit has been instrumental in advising multinational companies across various sectors. Join us as we delve into his professional journey, uncover the intricacies of his work, and learn the personal passions that drive him outside the courtroom. A very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Jolly. Thank you for the kind introduction.
It's our absolute pleasure. Yes, please.
Let's share our experiences and let's see what we learn
Yeah,
from each other.
please, let's get started. Before we delve into the conversation, let me just brief you with the flow, the how we are going to proceed today. So we have three rounds in total. The first round is the professional questions round. The second is the personal questions round, and we end the entire conversation with a very fun rapid fire round. Also, at the end of the entire conversation, after we are done with the rapid fire, if you have done really well, we have a small surprise scheduled for you. So embrace yourself and let's get started with the very first round, which is the professional questions round. Okay. Sorry, I stammered.
No
Um,
issues.
the very first question would be that how has your journey in the legal industry been till date?
So for me, if I have to sum it up, I would say it has been a journey filled with good challenges and quite a bit of learning. I started off at a very small place. Started off with practicing with an independent lawyer, and this was back in 2019, January. And there, I did not have much choice as to what uh, if I could choose and nitpick and choose from the practice areas that I wanted to, because it was a small setup. So I had to do almost everything. So there, practicing a particular thing wasn't a choice. Eventually, after having worked there for some time, I moved to IC Universal Legal, where I again practiced general corporate advisory. There also, I also did a little bit of real estate work there. Although in my first engagement, I used to do a lot of GC, uh, commercial contracts and agreements, even a bit of IBC, IPR, so on and so forth. And it is only at Lawat and Associates that I totally got into transactions, which is your M&A PEVC. So it's been quite a journey. Looking forward to more learning, growing, and that's about it. It's been nice so far, actually.
Absolutely amazing it is. So, did this transition help you to identify your niche, or would you say that you are still on the journey of identifying a niche that you would say that this is what I um
I seriously believe that this profession is not a sprint but a marathon. That is when it's most enjoyed. So it's not like I do not have an idea about my niche. I do have, but and I want to explore further into it. Like for example, even though I would not say no to any kind of work, but transactions, legal advisory, preparing grounds, and these things pique my interest a little bit more
okay.
than working on a some other practice
Yeah,
area.
yeah, yeah. I have absolutely understand. There are few things that you enjoy more than the others. It doesn't
Yeah,
mean that the
happens with
others are
everybody.
not good. Yes. So can you describe your role and responsibilities as an associate at Ilawat and Associates?
At ANA, I work with the transactional team primarily, which is right from the term sheet stage to the closing stage, involved in structuring, due diligence being a big part of it, and the transaction documents, taking part into negotiations and everything else. So that at the end of the day, when few members of the team or teams are working on a transaction, bring it cohesively, coalesce it into a product which is required as per the client's intent and requirements. That's mostly my role primarily, but I also do a bit of advisory, which I again like, and labor and employment, a bit of commercial contracts and agreements. Never say never to anything.
Definitely. So, what challenges do you typically encounter when advising on private equity and venture capital investments?
I feel every transaction is different from the other. Challenges may vary from the simple fact on the agreement onto the positions, that is rights, liabilities, obligations between the principals, or even you can face challenges with respect to the legal framework and the regulatory compliances. For example the 1825 rule from FEMA, the under FDI.
Right.
Even though it is recognized for foreign investments, a thought could be put into making it domesticated as well. That could open a lot of options for the investors indigenously as well. So yeah, they are varied, and each challenge helps you learn further and further. So it's been a nice learning, I would say.
So through your transition, right from the year that you have started working, um, every lawyer or let's say legal professional has some case that is like celebrated as case of the like century, let's say, that holds a very special place. So, would you discuss any one or two of them?
Surely, century far behind it, not even a decade now.
Yeah.
Uh, so this was one of the very first transactions I was doing, and I was learning. So when for the first few years of my practice, I wasn't much into deals. It is only eventually that I actually could cross paths with what I wanted. So this was one of the first deals that I was working on, and it was quite a lengthy discussion between the parties, and sometimes excruciatingly so. But at the end of the time, like it took us about a good 6 7 months, and then when we were about to close the transaction, so one of the things that I had identified. So now this was also a very learning deal for me. But then I had also committed to myself to be very meticulous with the deal and everything. So I remember when we were rolling out the final execution copies of the definitive documents, I just felt like analyzing it once more, even though it was finalized, and could find curtailment of a right, which could be bothersome and prejudiced to the interest of our client, who was the lead investor in the game. So I identified that, got that mitigated. It was a proud moment for me. I just gave myself a silent pat on the back there. Other thing I think in my previous engagement also, I had the opportunity to work on I would say, quite a bulky due diligence, which went on for over a year, and I had multiple properties to conduct the due diligence and prepare TSRs for, I guess. And this is all nascent stages I'm talking about, because these are the ones that build into me the resilience, the calm, and the commitment to just go on and on and on and on and on. So that was a voluminous task, which gave me a bit of an idea as to how patient and calm you should be during while undertaking an assignment, and therefore that has helped me even now into managing assignments, multiple assignments, and even the bulky one, or the one with which we have the time constraints, or which is demanding temporarily. So,
Okay. How do you approach structuring and negotiating complex mergers and acquisition deals?
I think how I personally see it is, firstly, I need to understand the intent of the client with respect to the business. I need to gain a fair understanding, and then try to create the efficient ways and effective ways of achieving that objective. When structuring a transaction, it's not imperative that you will land with just one. You might land with multiple. So I really like compartmentalizing work and doing it in a piecemeal manner. Even if I'm doing the entire assignment, I will have that calculation going on in my mind. I would break it into piecemeals. I'll compartmentalize, and I'll work on individual aspects to see which fits best with what. That's my approach. It has worked for me well, and it has made me more efficient. And I would say has helped me think more critically and analytically that ways. So that if one of the components gets rejected because of some reason or the other, say it's not a good business decision, it's not the desired business decision or not the best financial decision as per the client, you always have a substitute for it when you compartmentalize. So I like that way of working.
Okay, so while negotiating, are you the advocate for just being on the part of your client only, or also the person who like just tries to manage both the parties and see what is like good for the business and overall transaction that you are looking forward to?
So every time one enters a negotiation, the client is well apprised of it beforehand, so that there are no surprises. And any client would hate surprises during a negotiation. So that is well taken care of before the negotiation happens. So what I mean to say is the client and the attorney remain on the same page. And that's the
Hmm.
way to go about it.
Okay. Uh, what skills have you found most crucial for success in general corporate advisory and commercial contracts?
General corporate advisory, I would say in the entire corporate law, because I've had the opportunity to practice a few practice areas. The skills, I would say, before the skills, the right attitude matters a lot. For example, you have to be committed to the work. You should not stray away from work. Don't feel complacent and just get into the thing. Maybe you don't get it once or twice when you read it, but then you have to be a good reader. The grasp has to be good, and that only comes with practice. One of the skills which I don't know, I can't remember how many times I've repeated this to my colleagues, juniors, and seniors, that thinking about the law logically, analytically, and critically is is one of the most important things. And not just about the law, but the matter, the facts. Then you analyze the precedents, then you analyze the commentaries. And that gives you a holistic thinking. That gives you the ability to think critically, and analyze it logically. So that I think is a very good skill and should be inculcated from the very nascent stages, because that thing is not something that you can find in the book, and that is what will distinguish you from a person who just creates a draft and who creates a well thought and analyzed and researched draft. So this is a very pragmatic, somewhat intuitive, um, this thing to have, a quality to have, and I would really say that it is one of the most important things.
Okay. What are the key differences in the legal landscape of foreign investments in India compared to the other countries that you have worked with?
In my limited experience, I have found that the Indian legal landscape, it is ever emerging. So there is always that pursuit of being better with the regulatory and legal framework and the compliance framework. However, that also leaves room for clarity and loopholes, which in the profession that I am in, like recently the NDI rules were amended, wherein the swap of securities was introduced for the first time as an independent section. So, like I said, it is ever evolving. This was only on 16th of August. In case of the foreign legal landscape, the laws are more precise and crisp. But somehow I found that the documents we prepare are very different from the ones that they prepare, which is theirs is a little shorter, and ours is more elaborate and captures uh, a detailed analysis of a clause or a detailed expression of the rights and obligations. I personally like that way of drafting. because a lot of times I have found that not putting things into paper also leaves room for confusion.
Yeah.
So that is one of the differences that I have experienced so far.
Yeah. And like, has there been a mistake on your side that you have really like after moving forward with the client, or just moving the document, let's say, while drafting, or maybe any negotiation or something that you have in the learning stage or something you have just mistook and then move forward with, and then like really felt guilty about that? Any
Oh my God. So it has not gone to the client, but yes, I do feel guilty for the mistakes. It's not like I don't make mistakes now. Made plenty, and
right,
I think everyone should, and especially in the early stages of the career, because you have the cushions of your seniors and the partners. Fortunately, didn't go to the client, but yeah, it makes you feel bad because you put your blood, sweat, tears, and sleep into it. You work hard for it sincerely. You want to give it your all. Obviously, when I work, I would not want it to become bothersome to my seniors or the management or the client ultimately. So yeah, it does put you in a little bit of guilt, but that's part of the journey, I guess.
absolutely. So legal profession being so dynamic in nature, how do you stay updated with the constant evolving laws and regulations in corporate law?
The answer to that is simple. I read.
Yeah, like, are you more into digital uh, modes of learning, or the bookish one,
I like physical
traditional?
paper a lot. Yeah,
Okay.
mostly traditional. But I keep myself updated in the 40 that I practice. I keep myself updated, looking at the notifications, the circulars, the rules, regulations, whatever ordinances are promulgated, and I also read articles by the other fellow attorneys, and so on and so forth. That's how I gain knowledge, and I also feel naturally inquisitive about it.
Yeah,
So I just like doing that.
yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Now, how has technology helped you with the legal tech tool, and which specific any legal tech tool that you have impacted your work?
Like I said, I'm not a very tech savvy person.
Okay.
Do not enjoy technology more. But having said that, Manupatra and SSC have been the primary source of references for the precedence statutes.
And like, the organizations that you have worked with, did they deployed any specifics, tech tools or something for you to like go through and browse through while you're working with them? Anything?
Can you give me an example? What do you mean by tech tools?
Let's say, for us, like, drafting is the main thing, but many organizations comes up with their specific tech tools for, let's say, if you're making like due diligence and reviewing the document, multiple documents and at once. Uh, let's give an example of the Prime Infotech tech tools we have, like the Litera Compare or the PDF doc tools that they have. Softwares which identify, let's say, one of the feature can be to identify the uh, document and making sure that the format is really good and according to the what draft, the kind of draft that is going forward, it is according to what the traditional format is, and pointing out the citations, double checking, making multiple copies, etc. A lot, like it can be
I mean,
anything, like,
I
yeah.
understand that your question is far more technical than to my understanding, to be very honest. As far as technology is concerned, with respect to, formatting the draft and everything is fine. I just want to say one thing, and because that I think is material for every lawyer, whether practicing corporate litigating or otherwise, is that drafting is something that should not be automated for that matter. This is one
Right,
of those
right, right,
arts
right.
which I strongly feel should be honed. I personally do not like when young lawyers they use we have these things, Chat GPT and Gemini and everything. I personally feel that honing your skills in drafting would be a good suit to have
Absolutely. And
as a lawyer.
since the Chat GPT and Gemini now that you have mentioned it, have your juniors come up with automated drafts and present to you that, so this is what I have done,
To
and
me,
yeah, to
no.
me or to your okay.
Probably to my well, I think I overheard once a senior of mine,
Because
but
people are doing that.
the the juniors do that. They think that they are sly. They're not. They'll be easily caught.
Yeah, and the
So
language is quite, if you are not like sound enough to make sure that you are using the tool smartly and to like just to your aid and not completely copy pasting it, it's very easily identifiable who has like copy pasted it and not. So
sounds like
that
you know all the technicalities there.
yeah. Because drafting, as I am the same believer that drafting is a craft for a legal professional that is owned and like it is developed through the years of practice and the experience, the kinds of cases that you work on. Because let's not just say that colleagues, even when we deal with the clients one on one, we have clients who who just go and just command on the give a command on the chat GPT and prepare let's come up with a like well documented draft ki, oh, this is something that I have already and you just need to review it. And since you're not drafting it and just reviewing it, like it should be compensated well, but at the same time if you're reviewing it and making sure that it is the legit document, you have to like make sure that no inaccuracy is there. So it is a lot to deal with from the client point of view as well.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also times are changing. We see in conferences we see a lot of, so for that matter, legal AI tools,
Hmm.
tech tools in the legal sector. Let's see how these things change the legal landscape in India.
Right.
We are yet to see it.
Because it becomes really difficult for us the legal professionals, especially who is dealing with the client one on one, to make them understand that what you have come up with may be available readily on the internet, but this is not you can go forward with, and what I am doing, what I am giving you is the best one. It is very like difficult to convince, especially for the clients of like the present day. So this is a constant struggle, I am sure, like for you as well and for me as well as a legal
I
professional.
mean, it's always makes a difference. It is a service
Yeah,
sector. Yeah.
yeah, it is. Okay, so what advice would you give to young lawyers aspiring to specialize in private equity, venture capital, and corporate law?
Okay. This is a this is a good question and an important one as well. Um, when an aspiring young lawyer enters into the profession, I feel that having the right attitude is very important. One should be coachable. They should have the sincerity, the punctuality, the commitment to the work, and the ownership to deliver it. Laziness, I strongly feel, takes you very quickly to mediocrity, and that should be evaded absolutely. And apart from that, like I said, reading is very important, and that thinking to develop that logical, analytical, and critical thinking is very, very important. So having a set of virtues and having a set of skills together will should make this journey. I'm not saying that by doing this in 2 years you'll be a millionaire or anything, but this is important to sustain in this journey, and this journey is supposed to be enjoyable both. Yeah, it yields returns many folds, everybody knows that. This is quite a lucrative profession, just needs a little bit of time and commitment. And once you basically, what I have found is, I wasn't told this by anybody, but with experience I've found, professing this way, this profession has become very interesting. I feel happy, I feel joyful practicing law as a lawyer, and it has become enjoyable doing this work. So that's why I say the right set of attitude and the right set of skills, develop both, have that discipline, and it should be a good journey. And yeah.
Okay. That was the last question, but I would add one more question to it. Um, there was a trend of doing engineering a decade before, and now it's people have like started inclining towards let's get law. If not something, let's get into law, and we would figure something out. So it
Mhm.
has just become a more, yeah, the recent trend like last 4 5 years. There are lots and lots of students who are just doing it just for the sake of having a degree in their hand, or just like passing down the years. I have even myself observed that very much. Um, so, what do you think? There is a difference between those who like are very much passionate and looking forward to build a career in the legal profession, and there are like the other set of people who is just doing for the sake of it and uh, acting and making it as key. If not something else, then we can roam the around the galleries of the court with a file in our hand. So, what is your opinion about the entire fiasco that is going
My honest opinion about it is that it's not just law, but I think in all the professions you will find both the sets of people,
on?
ones that are passionate and ones they haven't figured out yet and are going with the flow. While I have no issues with that, but I can't talk much about it because I do not uh, I do not resonate with that kind of a thought that ki jo hoga dekh lenge. So what I resonate with is if you if something drives you, if you want to do something and you're inquisitive about it, so I can answer that question more. So like I said in my answer in the previous question, so somebody who is passionate about the profession, who wants to pursue this and is inquisitive enough, uh, I think it's a great profession to have. I
Yeah.
actually tell a lot of my friends, childhood friends who are not lawyers, rather engineers, that they can actually say it forward that you can recommend this profession to other people. It is a
Right.
good profession. Yeah, it's a good
But
profession.
do you think, that the crowd will somehow in the coming time will decrease the credibility because there would be mixed ones and people would be the client, the needy ones would be meeting both the kinds, and that might like compromise with the credibility of the good ones. Let's say in the litigation in corporate world everywhere. Do you think that?
It happens already, and um, I think this is one of my concerns as well. And as much as I get chance to talk about it, I do amongst my uh, peers or whatever the circle I am in. So I do care about the sanctity of this profession a lot. I really respect this profession a lot, and I feel it's really close to my heart. And hence, I feel when you talk about the credibility, the competence aspect, it really rings a very loud bell in my mind. And I actually agree with the fact that this aspect of the profession should be propagated in such a manner that more seriousness is indulged into it, and it is not just taken for frivolity. Um, Having said that, things go the way they are. And I myself, when I was in law school, a lot of people they didn't have it figured out and they came to law. And this is one of those careers that it's not just practicing law that you can opt after graduation. There are other avenues as well. While when the attorneys talk and speak, we feel really mesmerized and it impresses us. And why it should not? It's a vocal profession. It should. But apart from having said that, there are other vocations which you can pursue after this, be it academics, be it judiciary, be it in-house. So it does open a lot of other gates as well. But as much as I don't know who to say this to, but I think it is, I would take this on to myself personally, and every lawyer should, to practice nicely and instigate some sort of commitment in others to practice the profession in a more credible way.
Right. Because it's somewhere or the other, it's the moral responsibility also because you're handling the life of people, real people. It's not just like transactions or something, but you are also being involved in the life of people who can that can your one mistake can end up with. end them up with like a lot of trouble.
Correct.
So yeah. So that is it for the professional questions round. The serious conversation is over. No, for good. Let's move towards the personal questions round. And my very first question to start with would be about your formative years. Let's say school and college and your first job. How was it and everything?
Formative year. So, like, does this also entail the family?
It's your choice. Like,
Okay.
please, if you are very much comfortable, and do mention that.
Yeah,
Like,
I have quite a supportive family, fortunately. I feel very gratitude about it. And my father was in the government service and he had a transferable job. So my schooling, I have studied in a convent school from a very small place in Bihar called Bhagalpur.
okay.
And after my 10th grade, I went to Kota to pursue medical sciences because I was a good student in biology and I had keen interest as well. But eventually, I developed an interest in law and took CLAT.
Right.
Di-
So,
uh, yeah, please go ahead.
also, yeah, did you had any legal background in your family?
I don't have that kind of a legal background, but yes, uh, now I can say because just in our generation, I have a cousin of mine who also practices law,
Oh, okay.
and it is only after meeting him uh, I became curious and I asked him as to what this profession is, and
Mhm.
he sort of let me know what the exam was, and that's how I took it.
Okay. And what about your college time? College memories at Chanakya,
College
National
was
Law
a lot of
Course?
fun and a lot of learning both. We change as a person in law school. It's a good long half a decade, and had a fair share of fun. But I always have this uh, one of the regrets. I think I did not join the debate society in my law
Oh,
school,
you
which I
did
should
not.
have. Yeah,
Okay.
I did not.
And so, were you part of any other society, if not debate society?
I was mostly into cultural things,
Okay.
but and having a lot of fun with the boys. But yeah, but this is something I should could have done. I thought about it a lot of times, but I didn't know why I didn't do it.
Okay, okay. And like, what societies did you had in college? Like,
There
moot
was a
court
cultural
is
society. Yeah, there was Moot, there was MUN, there was DebSoc, and there was this cultural society which would perform during the events and all.
yeah, right,
So
right, right.
I was mostly part of that.
Okay.
Mm.
I was the part of debating society in my school. No,
That's great.
laws.
That's great.
Yeah, I graduated being convener of the society. So I did the first thing that I did after getting admission is like being giving induction for the society because in our college there were a lot of societies, a lot.
Ah,
Like there were four,
which
five of
college are
them.
you from?
I am from a college. It's not an NLU, of course. It's
It's okay.
Uttaranchal. It's Law College. Dehradun from Uttaranchal University. Yeah. So,
Oh,
but
I
yeah,
recently went to Dehradun. I like that place.
it's a beautiful one.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful place. I can never get over with that. Uh, what hobbies or activities do you enjoy in your free time?
I love music, listening to music. I listen to a lot of music and have been into music since ever since I was a kid. Then I would sing and play my guitar. I like cooking as well.
Okay.
These are the things I enjoy. I'm reading a little bit every day. I like doing that.
So cooking was something that you developed during the skill that you developed during COVID, or it has been a thing like
It has been a thing, I think after 2010, it's been
okay,
some time.
and like
Yeah.
what's the your favorite, the best dish that you cook?
I can cook very good salads, sandwiches,
Okay.
and mutton.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So how do you balance your demanding professional life with the personal time for your family and friends?
So I generally have very few priorities in my life. One being my profession, one being my health, and the other is my relationships. So it naturally comes to me. I don't have to strive towards it. Every time I get time, I catch up with my friends, my family, my loved ones. I do that a lot. I also sometimes have a video call with my dog.
Yeah.
So yeah. So these are my priorities. I do not have a lot of distractions in my life. So it gets sorted.
That is something like you strive for during the present time that we are having right now, as this present generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's a hardship for a lot of people like us. Are there any particular books or movies that you enjoy? What book you are reading right now? First.
Right now I am reading Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I am liking that book. He has a lot of resilience in it. Apart from that, I have really liked reading Think and Grow Rich, Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, and Grit. Grit is a very good book. One should also try reading Rashmi Rathi. It's
Yeah.
very nice. It's a pleasure reading. And recently, I also read a book, Leadership is Friendship. That is also a good book, mostly based on CEOs of multinational companies, but you can extract what you want.
So are you more into
So
like
that
fiction or non-fiction reading?
non-fiction.
Non-fiction. Not
I'm
fiction.
into non-fiction reading. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, the movies, the movie part.
No, I haven't gotten into it. Movies. A few movies that I've enjoyed watching have been Wolf of Wall Street, Dallas Buyers Club, Sully, like I've written, and I love comedy movies. I like Hera Fairy.
Right,
I like
right.
Dhol. Yeah,
Uh, the OG ones.
yeah, yeah.
You like traveling? Any favorite travel destination?
I liked. Yeah, I enjoy traveling.
So anything on
So
your
your
bucket?
voice is breaking, Jolly.
Okay. So yeah,
You were
do you
asking.
like traveling and any of the travel destinations that you love to visit again and again, and the ones that are there on your wish list?
Oh, I like traveling. Everyone does. And one of the places I really have liked lately is going to Goa during the off season and driving around and having the delicious food. Apart from, I just got back from Kashmir. I went on a trek. It's called the Kashmir Great Lakes. I mean, the photographs can't do justice. It's a mesmerizing place. Every day
Right.
surprises you. Uh, but next, I want to visit my brother who stays in the US. It's been long due. And he's a big support system of mine, a moral guide to me.
Right.
So that's my on my list next.
Oh, that's really sweet. Um, how do you unwind after a very long day at work?
Delicious food and conversation with my people. The food should be healthy as well.
Yeah. So, is there any sport or fitness activities you are very passionate about?
I have been into fitness for the longest time, around 14, 15 years now. It's mostly training, weight or body weight. It's
Yeah, yeah.
yoga, it's running. Uh, Apart from that, I'm not big into sports, but I do enjoy playing badminton.
Hmm. Okay. Last question for this round. That if you are to describe yourself in a line, what would that be?
Oh my God. I think I am an action-oriented and passionate person who who is trying to uh, indulge into the experiences in a wholesome way, I would say,
Yeah, yeah.
and do whatever I do with 100% presence.
That's
That's all I can say. Making the most
That's
of the time.
great. That's absolutely fantastic. We are done with our personal questions
Okay.
round. Yes. We are
Okay.
towards our last round, which is the rapid fire round. And as mentioned, we have a small surprise gift for you if you perform really well. So
Okay.
it's a rapid fire. You have to be very quick and like answer. Whenever you are ready, we can start.
Okay. How many seconds do I have for every question?
Ah,
How many seconds do I have?
let's say 10 seconds. Will that be fine? Nobody
Okay.
asked me this question. So
Yeah,
I never gave anybody a timer because people are like, with they do with their own timeline. So, yes. For you, it's 10 seconds.
Let's do this. Okay.
Okay. Tea or
Okay.
coffee?
Should be enough. Coffee. Pour over.
Early bird or a night owl?
Early bird.
Any favorite legal drama?
I mean, I only have watched Suits, but Sully is a good movie. One should watch it.
Okay. One thing that you can't live without.
But I can't live without. Knowledge.
Okay, that's a very interesting answer. People take names of like uh, materialistic things. A favorite, a preferred vacation, beach, mountains,
Just got back from mountains, so beaches.
book or Kindle,
100% books.
formal attire or casual wear.
Oh my God, both.
Each to their own. Favorite cuisine,
Favorite cuisine, home cooked food. If I have to choose
morning.
one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Morning workout or evening work.
Morning.
Um, one word to describe your work style.
One word to describe my work style.
10 seconds you have.
Oh my God, meticulous, I would say.
Okay, and most used app on your phone.
My caller app, actually.
Okay,
I am on a
and
call all the time. Yeah.
and yeah, like your favorite app to be on.
Like, are you talking about social media?
Yeah, anything like you can be
I'm.
on anything like the app
Oh my God.
you enjoy using the
I don't
most.
use social media a lot. It's mostly WhatsApp, I guess. I
Okay.
no Spotify.
Yes, you are into music,
Spotify.
so
Yeah, Spotify.
okay, that is
Yeah.
it for our conversation. That is it for the 3 rounds.
Your
Uh,
voice is breaking again.
Okay, so that is it for that is it, and as promised that for the surprise gift that we had, our team will be getting in touch with you, and we have this ebook called Adopt and Introduce. So they will be getting in touch with you, taking your mail address, and they would be sending the ebook autographed by the author himself, along with some other goodies, right to your mail address. So please wait for it. And that is it what we have. Thank you so much for joining. It has been a pleasure and wonderful experience having you on this show. I enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did having you on this show. And I again thank you for
Thank,
taking your time out from your busy schedule having this session with us. It has been an absolute pleasure.
thank you.
Uh,
The pleasure has been mine as well.
Okay. For our audience, please stay tuned to watch this and many other interesting coffee conversation episodes on our YouTube channel, The Coffee Conversation Show. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And we would be looking forward to another interesting coffee conversation with another guest speaker. Thank you all for joining. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Mom.